Nell. Today we'll be doing an all-over body workout on the Wunda Chair for beginners. Today's workout is level 1 of a comprehensive 12-level full body workout series on the Wunda Chair, and I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you. Over these 12 videos we will progress from beginner all the way through to advanced. I've been teaching these programs for 15 years and they successfully progress you through the Pilates repertoire. You'll find both modern and traditional exercises in these programs, and you can download a printable program below. I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Plies on the Wunda Chair. Perch yourself right at the edge so your sit bones are on the box but really towards the front of the box. Heels on the pedal, legs together. One heavy top, one heavy bottom spring. Place your right hand on your lower abdominals and your left hand on your lower back. Breathe in to lift, breathe out to lower. Keeping the sit bones nice and still as you lift and lower the thighs. And pressing the heels down using the deep glute muscles and that connection between your sit bones and the thighs. Then arches on the bar, wrapping your toes around the bar. Inhale, lift, exhale, press. Once again, pressing from the back of the legs, particularly around where the sit bones and the thighs connect. Feeling the abdominals drawing back and up, and feeling that lift up out through your chest, through your palate, through the crown of the head. Toes on the bar, and I like to wrap the toes around the bar, have the heels slightly lifted, and then keep the heels at that angle as you lift and lower. So thumbs touching the lower rib cage, little fingers touching the ASISs or the lower abdominals, feeling that corset of support as you exhale, drawing the fingers and the corset in towards your center line, looking to stay nice and still on the sit bones. Risers, put your hands on your thighs, flex your ankles and then point your ankles. Dorsiflexion, plantar flexion. The challenge here is to keep your thighs nice and still. So keep the hamstrings contracted, the adductors are squeezing in towards the center line, and then articulating, pivoting around the ankle joints. Really slippery, loose ankle joints here, allowing the talus bone to slide back as you dorsiflex, and then the talus bone slides forward as you plantar flex. Pressing the knees together, feeling the inside thighs, feeling your core, lifting up and out of your pelvis. Using that out breath to press from the back of your legs through to the arches of your feet. So face the box, hands on the handles, heel up, standing single leg press, pressing the left heel down and then raising it back up. Put your right hand on your lower glutes and the top of the hamstrings, contract that area. You want to feel the sit bone draw down towards the thigh to lift you up and out of the hip socket. Exhale to press down, inhale to lift up. Similar to when we were doing our plies on the box, pressing from the deep glute muscles and the hamstring extensors, the thigh extensors there, pressing the pedal down and up. And then raise the knee up and down. The focus is strengthening the glutes, so put your fingers around the lower glutes, keeping them contracted as you lift and lower. Exhale, lift, inhale, return, exhale, lift. And then switching sides. Right heel up on the pedal. And then imagine you're leaning back ever so slightly, so you want your weight into the heel. This will activate the whole of the back fascia train, so the hamstring, the glute, the mid-back, and feel like you're pressing the pedal down, drawing the belly button back and up. Exhale through the mouth, inhale through the nose, exhale through the straw so that you feel those deep abdominals engage, and then lift and lower the leg. Doesn't matter how high the knee lifts up, focusing on strengthening that left hip, lifting up and out of the front of your left hip socket, keeping a lift of your sternum, the crown of the head. Really great glute exercise. So now line yourself up so that your heels are in line with the pedal that you're facing. You're on sort of like a 45-degree angle there. So we're doing single leg and rotation, breathing out to press the pedal down, breathing in to raise it back up. Left hand is making sure that the glutes and those deep external rotators are keeping the thigh in external rotation. As you push the pedal down, think of drawing the heels in towards one another to get into the adductors. And then lift and lower the knee up towards your armpit and elbow joint. So the legs to the side but in front of your body. Once again, this is about strengthening the glutes on that standing leg. And then other side. So you turn around, set yourself up, Pilates stance, pedal in line with your heels, and then left leg up. Having your hand at the glute there, it's surprising how hard it is to actually keep that muscle contracted. So that's where it's great to touch and feel that connection. And then placing the hand on the belly will help you lift up and out of the hip socket. So you've got the hamstrings anchoring you down at the back, lengthening your lower back. You've got your abdominals scooping up, lengthening you up and out of the pelvis. And then lift and lower the knee. Breathe out to lift, breathe in to lower. And think of a nice slippery, loose hip, oily hip socket, really dropping the thigh down into the hip socket as you lift the knee up. And now into beginner hamstring curl series. So this is the first of 3. We've got one heavy top spring. Lying on your back, and initially you'll feel quite far away from the box. Your pelvis and lower back are in neutral. And you're pressing the pedal down and up, drawing the heels down towards your sit bones, activating the back of the legs, squeezing the back of the knees, keeping that contraction as you raise the pedal up, making sure that the heels are in line with your sit bones, the knees are in line with your middle toes, connecting to the back of the legs, breathing out and breathing in. Then into beginner hamstring curl series frog. So finding a comfy position of your foot on the pedal, and then you're pressing the pedal down and up. Think of leading with your knees on the way down. Think of leading with your heels on the way up. Initiating by pressing the knees down from those deep external rotators. Making sure that you're not rolling the pelvis, keeping the pelvis nice and steady and the scapula flat. Heels back in line with your sit bones, and then we've got the third and last exercise in this series, which is spine curls. Imprint and then tuck and then reach the legs away. Pause at the top there. And then rolling down, keeping the knees in line with your middle toes. It's good to place a tennis ball in between the knees as well. The angle of the knee is quite open. This is fantastic for strengthening the hamstrings. The challenge here is to keep the pedal still as you articulate and lift. It's actually quite strong on the hamstrings. As you roll up, think of slightly internally rotating the thigh bones so that you keep the adductors engaged. Pressing the hands gently into the floor to help you connect to your lats, and really thinking of lengthening the body as you roll and lift. Rolling onto your side into baby clams, left arm underneath your head, shins parallel to the wall that you're facing. Baby clams, fire hydrant. So you're lifting and lowering the top leg, knee in line with ankle. Deep abdominals engaged, underneath side lifted, focusing on the glute. The deep external rotators lifting you up and down and then into circles. So because this is a beginner 1 program, just about 6 repetitions of this until you build up your strength, then into circles. So you do 6 in one direction, 6 in the other. Having the hand on the hip will help you keep the integrity of the pelvis whilst you isolate that thigh. And then have a little rest, 2 deep breaths, focusing on the breath entering and exiting your body. And then align your skeleton. Internal, external rotation. So knock, knee and toe tap. Focusing on those deep external rotators to lift the knee up, and then the groin muscles drawing the knee in. So then onto all fours, just to transition to the other side, we're going to do plank prep. So you're stepping back with one leg, then the other, and then one knee, and then the other. Okay, if putting your toes on the Wunda Chair is too slippery, then obviously just move forward. But I actually like using the Wunda Chair here because you really do have to stabilize and use your core and your adductors to keep the legs from moving, the feet from moving. Shoulders are over wrists, knees underneath the hips. Imagining you're balancing a tray of champagne glasses on the back of your pelvis there as you do this. And then we've got baby clams on the other side. So knees in line with hips, feet in line with knees, underneath sides lifted, shoulders are back and down. Maybe place your hand on your belly button, feeling that drawing of your core in and up. Lifting the leg up and down. Keeping the foot in line with your knees, you lift up and down. Focusing on the glute, the deep back pocket muscles doing the work. Really slippery hip. Keep breathing. Keep the length through your spine and the slipperiness in the hip. Have a little rest if you need. Taking 2 deep breaths to relax and let go, and then realign your skeleton, connect to your muscles, and then knock, knee and toe tap. Internal rotation, external rotation. The knees kiss, the toes kiss. Rolling in and out within a range that the pelvis, the top hip doesn't roll forward and back. Making sure that underneath side's nice and steady. So now we're going into hundreds prep. So your arms are up, knees are up into tabletop, neutral pelvis, squeeze your legs together. You're going to lift your head and your chest up, and then you're going to pause there and breathe in through the nose and then out through the mouth. Wide ribs at the back, and then squeeze the ribs in narrow. Lengthen through your arms, and then lift your chest up a little more. Keep the belt in a notch, and then draw that belt a notch even deeper with each out breath. If it gets too necky, put your hands behind your head. Your elbows can be quite narrow. Keep the collarbones away from the ears, reaching the armpits up towards your knees. So your scapula are wide and laterally rotated. Try and lift up so that you're actually around your bra line area or the lower shoulder blade area. The inside thighs are contracted, the deep abdominals are drawing in, and then place one leg down followed by the other, lowering down. Roll onto your side to get up. And then we're going to do pyramid to plank. So hands are out the width of the mat, the legs are about pubic bone width apart, and then out into a plank, shoulders over wrists, and then pyramid position. Press into your thumb and your index finger, and then here squeeze the inside thighs towards one another, and then wrap the armpits in towards one another. Engage your thighs, draw your belly button up, and then press your chest towards your thighs so your spine is nice and long from side on. So the feet are apart, but you're squeezing your legs together. And then as you're in pyramid, armpits towards one another. Now walk your hands back towards your feet, relax your neck, relax your jaw, and then slowly roll up through your spine all the way up to standing. So now we've got one heavy spring on the top. We're going to do washerwoman. So your feet are sit bone width apart in parallel, or you can do this in a V. Put the hands on the pedal, press the pedal all the way down, breathe out to lift the pedal up until the springs release, breathing in to press down. Now the challenge here is to keep the hip joint directly above the ankle joint. Try not to rock the pelvis back and forth here. You're pressing down with your abs. You're pressing down by drawing your rib cage towards your hips, and then on the way up, actively tucking your sit bones towards your thighs so that you're using the glutes to anchor the tailbone down, and then rolling up through your spine and then into washerwoman obliques. So your hips are rotated towards the left and your feet, but your collarbones are in line with the pedal. Pressing the pedal down, inhale, exhale, lift up. Okay, so your collarbones are anchoring away from your ears. You're feeling serratus and lats co-contracting along with rectus abdominis. Keep the thighs sucking up towards your pelvis, so your thighs are really active. Pressing down through the left side a little more to engage the obliques on that left side. Left rib towards the right hip. Rolling up. And then swing your heels back through center and then to the other side. So you're rotating. The hips and the legs are rotated to the right. Collarbones are square to the pedal. Roll through your spine, keeping the hips above your ankles. Press the pedal down. So you don't want to stand too close to the Wunda Chair here. Otherwise you will really rock back and forth a lot. Tucking as you lift, pressing as you push. Back of the legs, and then tummy and serratus and lats. Hamstrings and glutes, abs and lats. Allow your head to drop down, leading with the crown of the head so that your neck is long at the back. Almost like you're holding onto a pencil underneath your chin there. And then rolling up through the spine, let the head float up out of the pelvis, and then back to parallel. So kneeling side press. Okay, so you want to be in a position where your hands on the pedal and you're able to stand up on your knees. So I was a bit too far away there, so I'm moving in a little bit. Breathing in to go over, breathing out to return. Now only go down within a range that you can keep your pelvis, shoulders and head from side on, all on one plane. So it's like you're in between two sheets of glass, two panes of glass, and you're laterally flexing to the right and then return. Push down with the armpit and then return using the obliques. Pressing down with that right shoulder blade muscle and then returning, zipping up and out. And then the other side. Such a beautiful feeling. This exercise really stretches out the psoas. The hard thing is to keep the scapula stabilized. So you've really got to keep the shoulder blades, the armpits drawing down and pressing forward. Not allowing that left collarbone to go up and down. Only going out over to the side within a range that your pubic bone and your chest stay on the same plane at the front there. And feeling the hamstrings engaging to hold you up in that neutral position. Okay, so now we're standing up and we're going to do side press, seated side press. Okay, so you're on the outside of your hip bone, on your greater trochanter. You're pressing the pedal down and then you're lifting it up. Breathe in to go over for the stretch and then breathing out to contract and lift. You want to go from neutral to a lateral flexion to the left to neutral position. Put your hand on your belly and scoop the belly in so you can lift your chest up. Left collarbone is anchored away from your shoulder blade, from your ear rather, stabilizing through that left shoulder. and then the other side. Okay, so you don't want to be sitting on your sit bone, you want to be sitting on your greater trochanter, so your right sit bone is off the box. Laterally flexing to the right, lifting up with length. Lead with the crown of the head. As you go down, lead with the crown of the head. As you lift up, reaching out and up. Reaching the left rib away from the left hip. And lengthening your left foot away from your hip. So now, I'm using the program that you can print up. It's a printable PDF. So now we're doing prone triceps. So your pelvis is on the box, your shoulders are over the pedal. Your legs are apart in external rotation and active, and your elbows draw in towards your ribs and then pressing down. Inhale, exhale. So the core is working hard here. You don't want your ribs to drop down to the floor. You've really got to nip the rib cage in towards the hips to stabilize the torso. Your hamstrings and glutes are working. And now prone arm press. So draw your fingertips in towards one another. The elbows go out wide and then straighten. Keeping the scapula very still as you move your arm bones. Pressing the armpits down towards the floor and towards the pedal so that your shoulder blades are wide and stabilized. The core is pressing your pedal down. Your abdominals are pressing the pedal down. Now into swimming legs. So you're stabilizing through your upper body. The pedal is just off the floor. The armpits are pressing the hands towards the floor. The glutes and the hamstrings are reaching your thigh bones out and up. And now into swan dive prep. So lifting the chest up and then pressing the pedal down. Head, shoulder blades lift and then press through the ribs towards the hips to press the pedal down. Lead with the crown of the head so you're articulating through the spine. Drawing the shoulder blades back and then widening the shoulder blades. The hamstrings, the thighs are engaged throughout. And then be careful as you come off there. So you're just wiggling back, feet down, and then slowly lift the pedal up. So now we're going to mobilize and release the spine by doing roll like a ball prep. So this is about momentum. Okay, we start with the feet down, we rock back and then rock forward. Lift the heels to initiate that roll onto the coccyx and then let momentum do this and then think crown of the head forward. Lift the heels, roll onto the tailbone, then back and then forward. So feel that moment where you're rolling your tailbone to sacrum on the floor. And then into spine stretch. So pull the flesh of your buttocks out so you perch nice and tall on your sit bones. And your arms start in line with the floor. And then exhale, flexing the spine forward, keeping the angle of your armpits, and then breathing in to prepare to lift back up. The shoulder blades widen, and then the shoulder blades return back to neutral. The thighs are engaged, your buttocks is contracted, so you're lifting up and out of the floor. Ribs to hips imprinting the back of the pelvis back as you C-curve forward. Feeling like you're really opening up the bones of the lower back. So you can check the program here. Just following that. You're going to grab the spine corrector and sit up on the seat, side on. So we're doing sides here. Your left foot is in line with your hip. Right hand on the forehead, left arm out in line with the floor. So what I was doing there was connecting to the hamstring, making sure the back of the leg is engaged, and then making sure my tummy is drawing in and up. And then you lift the armpit up, and it's about lengthening out and up. It's like you're sort of looking out a window. So you're not flexing to the right. What you're doing is you're going from a flexion to the right to a neutral position, keeping the deep abdominals engaged as you lower back down, so you're eccentrically contracting them. Armpit pulls down towards your hip. Put the hand on the box and then rotate around. And then we're going to do spine corrector curl up. So your pelvis is towards the front of the seat and you're tucked. So there is a big gap between your lower back, the back of the pelvis, and the barrel. Fully interlace the hands behind the head. The thumbs are touching the occipital points. The elbows are in line with your temples or eyes. And you want to lift your chest up and out, and then lengthen the back of the neck as you lift up. Thinking of reaching the breastplate up and over, and then the lower abdominals, then the ribs to hips. Keeping the abs contracted as you extend the thoracic spine, keeping that length as you lift. Eccentric contraction of the abdominals, and then a concentric contraction. Ever so slightly contracting the buttocks. So it'll feel like you're slightly posteriorly tilting with the pelvis here, so the hamstrings are engaged. Reaching the elbows, the armpits up and over. Allow your spine to arch back. And then up you come, other side. So back of the leg contracted. Reaching out through the heel, tummy is drawing in and up. Salute with the hand and then reach the arm out. Really stretch the right shoulder, the upper traps, by lengthening that arm out. Leading with the right hand as you lift up and out. Keeping both sides of your waist as long and even as possible. Deepen that contraction as you inhale and lower down. And then roll and then lift up. And then we transition through oblique curl-ups on the spine corrector. So exactly the same position as before. Your pelvis is towards the front of the step. It's like your sit bones are touching the edge of the step there. And you're going up and back. And then you lift up and then you rotate. Up and back, lift up, and then it's the right shoulder lifts up a little more than the left. Arching, contract and rotate. Very small rotation. So your breastplate will be in line with your ASIS knee as you lift and rotate there, as opposed to really rotating over to the left or right. So both obliques are long and lengthened as you twist. Allow your thoracic spine. It's normal to feel your thoracic spine working here. It's okay. Just try and soften the muscles in your thoracic to allow your spine to arch. Grab hold of your thighs to sit back up. Shoulder roll on the spine corrector. You want to be towards the front of the spine corrector so you can lie back on it. And your right arm is on the floor. If you need to put a pillow or a towel underneath your ear and shoulder, then do that. And this is a mobility exercise. It's all about letting go. That's the hard thing, is letting go here. So you're going to breathe in to roll, and then you breathe out to return. Now lead with your hand as you go forward, and then lead with your leg as you return back to the front. There needs to be enough room behind you to roll all the way back. Put your hand down and sit back up. You want to be towards the direction that you're facing. You're towards the front of the spine corrector. So then here you can roll onto your back. And then lead with your thigh, your arm, then your head. Lead with your hand, your head, your shoulder, your thigh. And then as you return, thigh rotates, the hip, the arm, the head. The upper body leads the way and unravels down to your foot. Beautiful stretch there. And then the thigh, the leg leads the way as you return. The The upper body rolls allow your body to surrender to gravity here, and then the foot, the thigh internally rotates to return. Put your hand on the spine corrector to sit back up. So now we'll get rid of the spine corrector, move that to the side, check your program, you'll be able to follow that. This is something that you can then keep in your studio for you to reference if you wanted to use that with clients, or just keep that as a repertoire reference. So now we're going to do some upper body work. Okay, so you're on all fours and then your right hand is on the step, and we're doing Wunda Chair prep, push up. So you're pressing down and lifting up. Okay, the challenge here is to keep your hips and your shoulders as square as possible as you isolate that right arm. Breathe out to press, breathe in to return. Breathe out to press, no wobbling around as you raise and lower the pedal. Okay, so you set yourself up, chest in line with the middle of the pedal, push the pedal down, and then it's about stabilizing through your torso, making sure that your balance stays in between your knee joints. You're lifting up and out of your right wrist by gently pressing the finger pads down into the mat, pressing from the deep abdominals, chest, bicep. And then we'll do some triceps on the Wunda Chair. So your feet are forward, you want to be forward of the pedal. Inhale, lower down, very small movement. You want to keep the collarbones away from your ears. What I see a lot of people doing is they go right down and the shoulders roll forward, okay? So it's a very small movement. This is more about stabilizing your scapula, keeping the scapula still and anchored down as you isolate the arms. Inhale, bend, exhale. Imagine a string on your breastplate reaching forward and up. Keep you lifted and engage the buttocks and the tummy, pushing through the heels to help you lift up out of your core. Quite strong on your arms. And then sit back on the box. And then you're all good to go. Done. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that workout. I'm really looking forward to taking you through level 2 in my next video. Don't forget, subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date and get notified when it is released. And if you did enjoy it, I'd really appreciate you liking the video. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, movement is your medicine.